Are you struggling to create a nested table in Vue.js? You're not alone. Many new developers face this challenge, and today we're going to tackle it together. I completely understand how frustrating it can be when you're trying to implement a feature and it just doesn't work as expected. This is a common issue for those new to Vue.js, especially when dealing with recursive components. Here's the specific question we're addressing today. One user asked how to iterate recursively on objects to create a nested table. They provided a template but ran into issues with illegal table layouts. Sound familiar? Let's dive into this. So what's the issue here? When trying to create nested tables, wrapping content in a tbody tag can lead to illegal nesting, which breaks the table structure. Understanding this is key to finding a solution. And stay tuned. I have a great tip at the end that will help you avoid these issues in the future. To create a recursive table in Vue.js, the user should start by defining a component that represents a row. This component will include a toggle feature to show or hide child rows. Next, the user needs to implement the toggle functionality. This will allow the user to expand or collapse the child rows when they click on the toggle link. Now, the user should ensure that the parent component passes the correct data to the row component. This involves using props to send the item data down to each row. Finally, the user can test the implementation by rendering the table with nested data. They should ensure that clicking the toggle link correctly shows or hides the child rows. Fun fact, did you know that Vue.js was created by a former Google engineer? It's designed to be approachable and flexible, making it a favorite among developers. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. This user suggests two alternative approaches for creating a recursive table in Vue.js 2. First, they recommend splitting your component into two separate components. You can then iterate over both components using a virtual node. This allows you to maintain a proper table structure. The second suggestion is to abandon the idea of using a real table altogether. Instead, you can emulate the table layout using div elements and appropriate CSS display properties. Let's take a moment to review another user's answer. An alternative solution has been shared by another user. They successfully created a nested table structure using a clever approach. They suggest making the root element a tr and nesting a td with a colspan attribute set to a high value, allowing for the inclusion of another table inside it. This way, you can achieve recursion by nesting tables within table rows. They also mention that you can adjust the colspan based on the number of columns in your table for better accuracy. Additionally, they modified the CSS for inner tr elements to ensure proper display, setting their display property to table and width to 100%. That wraps up that answer. Let's move on to another one. An alternative approach suggests flattening the tree structure in a computed property. This allows you to render the HTML table without recursion, avoiding invalid HTML issues. The user provides a code snippet that defines a Vue component for the tree table row and a method to normalize the tree structure. This method processes each node and its children, creating a flat array for rendering. Here's the tip I promised. Always validate your HTML structure when working with nested components. This will save you a lot of headaches down the line. And there you have it. You should now be able to create a nested table in Vue.js without any issues. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and tricks.